Hey there, everybody. It's child therapist Mister Stu back with Bad Kids Don't Exist, the podcast that helps adults better understand kids to create environments where kids and their caregivers can thrive. Today, I'm going to be talking about why it may seem kids today have a harder time accepting no compared to kids from the past. I'll also teach you a script you can follow anytime you have to tell your child no, and how to apply it to the 3 different types of no I see on a daily basis. But before we jump into that, if you are looking for more videos about children's mental health and how to best support the little ones in your life, this is the channel for you. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out. But back to our topic of helping kids accept no. As a child therapist, I work with kids who will get into very serious arguments and at times even altercations when they're told no. They yell, they scream, they fall out in the grocery store, and they even sometimes fight or hurt themselves when they're told no. And maybe you have kids or work with kids or have seen the kids fall out in the grocery store, and you think, back in my day, we just accepted no. There was no option. And that's really what parents tell me all the time. They say that when they were kids, they just accepted no. And I'm here to tell you, no, you didn't. No, they didn't. No, you didn't. No child just inherently accepts no. And here's why I know that's true. Always, 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 when people tell me they just accepted no, they add on something like, I knew that if I argued when I got told no, I'd get hit on my backside or worse. So what does that tell me? It tells me you didn't accept no, because otherwise you would not have learned what would happen if you didn't accept no. You also had to learn how to accept no. Maybe when you were a kid, the way you learned was by being spanked or worse. Today, we just know better ways to teach kids lessons than by hitting them and thinking that's teaching them. But even if you accept that you didn't always accept no, and you had to learn to, you see, there is a change in kids' ability to accept no today versus kids from yesteryear. So what is it that's going on here? The reason is partially a good thing and partially a bad thing. Not too many generations ago, parents had a mindset of telling their kids, go out in the street and do whatever you want. Don't you dare bother me. That was just the common thought of how to raise kids. Today, parents want to be more involved. That's the good part. The bad part is that parents sometimes want to be too involved. Here's why that matters when it comes to kids accepting no. Back in the old days of do whatever you want, don't get arrested, don't bother me, kids would have been told no if they would have asked about some of the things they wanted to do. They just never asked. They did what they wanted and then faced the consequences, either life consequences like breaking an arm from climbing too high in a tree, or parent consequences like being grounded after stealing a candy bar. Kids back then would have had a hard time accepting no, but they didn't ask. So there were fewer opportunities for them to be told no and fewer examples of them having a tough time with it. The difficult truth is there is a level of being too involved in your child's life. Some parents feel they have to be involved in everything and collaborate with everything. And that has created kids who think they need to ask about everything. Building resilience will be a later episode of this podcast, but for now, just know that when kids ask about any move they want to make, it can be a problem. Lots of kids today have that problem of asking about everything. So adults who know better or know what might come of a situation say no. When we were kids, life taught us the hard lessons. Fewer people told us no. And I hear parents say all the time, I don't want my kids to go through the same things I went through when I was a kid. And in some ways, that is great. If you were treated poorly as a kid, stop that cycle. If you were unsupported or judged or unheard, break that cycle. But if it is just that you would rather say no than let a kid try something and fail, or try something and be uncomfortable or disappointed, or even try something and get a little scraped up, you might be using no too often. Have you fallen into that trap? Have you fallen into the trap of telling your kid no just so they don't make a mistake? We have to let kids make mistakes. Letting them make the mistake and learn from the mistake will help them learn the lesson way better than you just telling them no. I don't mean to never say no, or if it's completely unsafe to just let a child do whatever it is they want to do. But some lessons are best and easiest learned by letting life run its course. I believe that one of the reasons parents are exhausted today is because they feel they have to teach every lesson, rather than letting life teach some natural lessons all on its own. When you see all of that put together, you can understand why no seems like a bigger deal today than in the past. And like a lot of things we've talked about on Bad Kids Don't Exist, the problem is us, the adults, and not kids just being bad. So what then? If you choose to back off from saying no as often, but you still want to help your child accept no, what do you do? It's important to remember that when adults say no to kids, there's actually 3 levels of no. There is level 1, which is no, not ever in any way. Then there's level 2, which is no, not now. And finally, there's level 3, which is no, not this, but that. Kids don't understand that. We as adults understand when we say no, it's most often no, not now, or no, not in that specific way, but we can find something else. But kids don't get that. Their brains are still developing. And the part that's responsible for understanding those nuances in language and in conversation, it's called the prefrontal cortex. That part in children isn't developed. It's not really connected until around age 12, and then it's not fully connected until around age 25, and then it never stops developing all the way through your lifetime. When all that's said to a child is no, even when you mean no, not now, or no, not this, but that, a child's brain always takes it as no, not ever, in any way, and it adds on, and how could you be so stupid to ask? To help children develop that nuance of understanding that there are levels of no, we as the adults have to be explicit with it. Let me teach you a script and show you that actually no, not ever in any way is very rarely what you mean. Here's the script. You can use this no matter what you have to say no to. There's 3 different parts. Here are the parts. Part number 1, I know you blank. Part number 2, but blank. Part number 3, you can blank. Let's start with part number 1. I know you blank. In this first part, you want to acknowledge what the child wants and show them you're not calling them stupid or thinking they're bad for wanting it. You're showing them that you see there's more to it than just the behavior. There is a desire beneath the behavior, and that's really what they're trying to get at. Let me give you some examples. If a child says, "Can I climb the tree that's 1,000,000 stories high?" You could respond, this is part 1, I know you want to show me how brave you are. Do you see, it's not really about climbing the tree, it's about what climbing the tree will give to the child. Well, what about this one? Can I throw the paint at the wall? You could respond with, I know you're creative and being messy can be fun. One that I hear often, can I watch my tablet while we eat? I know you are excited to see what happens in the video. Can I get the new toy? I know you like new things to play with. So that's part 1. I know you blank. Part number 2, but blank. This is where you give the rationale for why it's not okay or why it's not okay right now. Keep it short. This is not lecture time. It's a quick statement. Let's go back to, can I climb the tree that's 1,000,000 stories high? You could respond with, I know you want to show me how brave you are, but even though you might not be worried, I'm really scared you might get hurt. Can I throw the paint at the wall? I know you are creative and being messy can be fun, but paint might not come off the wall. Can I watch the tablet while we eat? I know you are excited to see what happens in the video, but I want to spend some time with you while we eat. Can I get the new toy? I know you like new things to play with, but you haven't saved up enough money for that one. You've stated the desire, and then you've given the rationale for why it's a no, at least a no right now. So it's, I know you, blank, but blank. Then it's time for the third part of the script. You can blank. Here's where you let the child know there is a way to get what they're desiring, either by waiting or by doing something else that achieves the same outcome. So, can I climb the tree that's 1,000,000 stories high? I know you want to show me how brave you are, but even though you might not be worried, I'm scared you'll get hurt. You can climb up to that branch, or you can climb on the playground, or you can climb on the chair. You're just offering some type of alternative. Can I throw the paint at the wall? I know you are creative and being messy can be fun, but paint might not come off the wall. You can smear paint on the paper. Can I watch my tablet while we eat? I know you are excited to see what happens in the video, but I want to spend some time with you while we eat. You can talk with me while we eat and watch when we're finished. Can I get the new toy? I know you like new things to play with, but you haven't saved up enough money for that one. You can save up and get it next time, or you can play with the toys you have and ask for that one for your birthday. Do you see that no doesn't have to be this power struggle? You can limit children's behaviors without being a jerk. And you can limit children's behaviors, but still allow them to see that they are not bad for desiring the behaviors they're desiring. Saying just no is a control move. It is a power move that often results in a power struggle. And if you constantly are saying no, then children are going to start believing that their desires must be bad or wrong, so they need to come and check with you about everything. Using this script helps them to develop that nuance. It helps them to understand that no doesn't always mean no, not ever, in any way. And over time, they'll learn how to fill in those blanks on their own. They'll be able to start doing in their own head, I know I want to, but right now probably isn't the best time. So maybe right now I can. I know I really want to talk to mom about whatever right now, but it seems like she's really busy. Maybe I can do something else and then catch her as soon as she's finished. If you'll use this script over and over, I know you blank, but blank, you can blank, their brains will start to do it on their own. Rather than coming to you to be controlled, you're teaching children to control themselves. I know you blank, but blank, you can blank. But there is one situation, only one that I know of, where I believe it's important to say, no, not ever, in any way. There are times where I have seen children go to their parents and say, will you ever stop loving me? In that situation, you can look back at them and you can say, no, not ever, in any way. It can look like kids are bad at accepting no. But it's adults who have been pretty bad at telling kids what no really means, and at allowing kids to learn some lessons just from living life. Kids having trouble accepting no are not bad kids. Because remember, some things exist, some things don't. Bad kids don't exist. I love helping adults better understand kids to create environments where kids and their caregivers can thrive. If that sounds like a match for your next event, book me now for engaging workshops and keynote presentations. Click the link in the description to this video or head over to badkidsdon'texist.com/booking. Kids these days, blah, 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 blah.